when I started to go to school boards at San Diego, the school was getting about 142 million from the state. And 92% of that money was going out to salaries and administration for 600 employees. So imagine 142 million is going to salaries and administrative staff. Where's the rest of the money for kids? So let me tell you, there is a scam going on, and I will wanna shed a little light about what's going on. And you may not be a victim of it, but I want you to be realizing that you should prepare your friends, your kids, if you have kids still in a school system. Be prepared and prepare your kids, because this is terrible. Once it happens to you, you're in shock, because it takes you, you can't believe they're doing it to you, but they are. And I want you to go through it, and I may steal a few more minutes, but I want to go through this. I handled about 9 similar cases like this, so this is not an isolated case, but because I have limited time, I want to bring this case because this is one of the few cases that became public. This kid, Jacob, his name is not disclosed. It's a long history, I make it short. But in essence, a night before he was called into the principal office, he was sparring with his friends at 6 p.m. at the Ralph Shopping Center. The next day, Victoria Kim, the principal of Carmel Valley Middle School, it's a whole different story. And she calls him into the office after lunch, and she puts him in a closed, dark room. And he keeps asking her, why am I here? And for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and it's not my story. CBS made that whole story. And for an hour and a half, she did not call him out. Finally, she brings him to the office and she says, you did not represent the school well last night. That's why you're here. He said, what did I do? He said, you were sparring, somebody complained about you. In essence, nobody did. She kept him for 2 more hours in the office. The mom called to release him at 3:15 when the bell rang, and she still did not release him. The kids were waiting for him to go to the Boys and Girls Club, and they were saying, release Jacob, release Jacob. And he eventually escaped from her office. It was already 3:50. He was so stressed. He was shaking because she really imprisoned him in this room. And can you go back to that little, before? He wrote this on Snapchat. Just ditched out, school ran out, the beach office that tomorrow. The next thing happened to this kid, and I want to bring this up because this happens to a lot of the kids. She called the police and said that he is a threat to himself and others. Education code 48900, it's a very well-known education code that they use to falsely accuse kids being at risk, school shooters or whatever. And that night at 7 p.m., they picked him up, 4 police officers. They turned the house upside down and took him to juvie hall for 5150 hold. And this story that I'm sharing with you, I helped personally 9 cases like that in San Diego County. This is not unique. This is what I call the school to prison pipeline that's happening for kids for cash. Why is it happening? What's the benefit? The benefit is what's happening after. The parents need to hire lawyers in order to revoke the expulsion, the suspension to take out. And what happens? The school districts have their army of lawyers. And what happens? The money goes out and they start dragging the lawsuits in order to pay their vendors. And that's the way they take money out from the system. They pay their vendors, their lawyers, their all kinds of services, and who knows how is this money being dished out in the background. That I don't know, but obviously lawyers, this year San Diego is spending $1 million retainer for their lawyers. This is really horrible. So there is a whole bunch of them that's happening. Can you move on? So I want to bring a case that's happening. I'm also the president of the Republican Women Club. We had the honor to have Summer Stephan this past Wednesday. And one of the cases happening a couple years ago, there was $400 million embezzlement, A3 charter school. A3 charter school embezzled $400 million, and not one person sat in jail. The DA charged them criminally, but not one person sat in jail. Can you? I'm gonna finish it. Can you?
I don't know.
Okay. Anyways, but I want to bring out that we have a system that injustices occurring, and it's a network. I actually believe there is a network of board members, school officials, DA.
Yes.
I asked Summer Stephan, you charged, oh, I forgot to tell you, this kid was charged with a felony by the DA a year later. 12 years old boy, a year later charged with a felony over a silly message. But 9 principals that embezzled $400 million walked free. All I want to say to you, I'm going to conclude now. I would like you to think about how to protect your kids. And here's my advice, and this is advice I give to a lot of the parents, even though it's not happening to you. Put the letter in your kid's school to say, I give the school no consent when the kid is accused of falsely or of any incident that he has done something wrong. The parents needs to be there, and not to give a consent to the school to call the kid into the office for evaluation, immediately to notify the parents. That letter needs to go in the kid's backpack, and it needs to be emailed to the district, the school officials, and their teachers. You must take precaution to protect your kids, because this is really serious. It may not happen to you, you're not aware of it. This is happening. It's not happening only in our county, not only in our district, it's all over California, even in Texas. Be aware of these issues, and this is my little message for you today. Please take care of the kids, because truly they are vulnerables, and these school officials are not about the kids, and it's very sad. Thank you for listening, and thank you, Marcy.